Hi, Lisbeth.
Hi, Raz.
Okay, we're at the very bottom of our river field, number 3, and Yungan is beautifully flowing there. And once again, on the left side of the fence last year, we had very low density free grazing with free choice, free will for the cows.
Towards the end of the season.
Yes.
And this is a plant they didn't like at all. It has salicylic acid in it. We're speculating that could be one reason why. It's called meadowsweet in English. I'm guessing that name comes from the fragrance of the flower. They have a very weird sweet smell. And it's called älggräs, moose grass in Swedish. So I'm guessing that's maybe because moose should like it, but cows definitely don't. And it likes really wet environments, and here when it's sloping down to the river, that could explain why it's so incredibly dominant here. And then it switches to meadowsweet mixed with thistles, and then more pure thistles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the Visia growing here as well, the nitrogen fixing.
Yeah, so on both sides of the fence, we have very similar
very little difference,
population.
as we said before, between the... Some horsefly also bothering me now.
Okay.
So here's this thistle that has mainly finished flowering, most of them, but a few late flowers are still there. And you see they're very bright and much bigger than the individual flowers on the other thistle species.
What is that?
I'm not sure. Svärmare in Swedish. These kind of relatives to butterflies.
Yeah, it would be really cool if one could just take a small video like this and then automatically map a lot of the individual plants, or as many of them as possible, so you can get a pretty good idea of what is growing exactly where, right? That would be a really nice project. And from that one can say quite a lot about what is happening under the ground in terms of minerals, various nutrients, and even the microbiological community in the soil. Did you want to share something, Elizabeth? You're just listening to the wind and smelling and being...
Yeah. It's quite a nice smell atmosphere here. Quite a few different species that contribute to the smell. So one of the reasons the wind sounds so nice is because it goes through the leaves of the aspen over here. A lot of the big trees are aspen trees. And here you see a lot of young ones.
Yeah, and that's our riparian zone where the stream goes and joins the river.
And of course they also try to go into the pasture. So there's some smaller ones here.
Yeah.
And the cows ate them to some extent last year, but they were not super fond of them. So there's quite a lot of raspberries growing here outside of the field, but the only ones I've seen inside the field were 2 or 3 of them down by the clump of trees by the river.
Yeah.
But they're quite common in the slopes surrounding the field.
Seems to be a bit more grasses on this part of the field, close to our neighbors. Here, there's a nice patch of the sneezeweed here, a tiny patch there, and a tiny patch there, and another tiny one over there. Yeah. Okay, we're again at the top of the field, the river field number 3, and it has been quite an interesting experiment so far. It's been over a year since we started our experiments.
Yes.
And it seems like we have some conclusions to draw. Yeah, so basically different styles of grazing definitely affects the plant community structure.
Yeah, very clearly.
And it's still not abundantly clear if there is a particularly dominant strategy one should, or advantageous strategy one should pursue, because that really depends on what you want to do with your operations, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say what we would like to do again when we introduce the animals next year is to make a plant map and be able to identify how the plant community ecology is evolving under different grazing regimes and in the absence of grazers, and then try to use the plant map itself either through just photos, videos, and handheld smartphones or drones to be able to make predictions about what is really going on in the soil from what is already known about different plants. And perhaps this can lead to more insights on what's really going on in a whole systems level. And of course, we would like to optimize the micronutrient density of the meat, but also the entire ecosystem health, so that we can move toward one health, right? Plant health, soil health, animal health, and planetary health. So let's see. We have the future ahead of us.
Sounds good. Okay, that's a wrap.